this creative activity is called Label. Now what you're going to need is a pen or a pencil, a piece of paper, a pair of scissors and some items from the kitchen. For example, a tin, a jar, a bottle, a box, a bag and an onion and a banana if you've got it. Now if you're not the person who usually buys or cooks the food for your household, please check with them first before you raid the kitchen. So pause the video, collect what you need and then restart when you're ready. First of all, I'd like you to have a look at the items you've collected and work out which ones you can write directly onto and which ones you're going to have to write on the paper for. So for example, if you've got a tin, you should be able to write directly onto the paper label around the tin, but if you've got a plastic bag of something, you'll need to write on the paper for that. Now if you have got a banana, you can write directly onto the banana skin with a biro, and if you've got an onion, well, you can peel off the outer layer and you can write on that. Just make sure that you don't write on anything that anyone is going to eat. So once you've worked out which items you can write directly onto and which ones you're going to write on the paper for, I want you to start thinking about labels. Now we are used to labels for our food, perhaps the ingredients, the use by date and how to cook it. But I want you to think about the sorts of labels that you find in a museum or an art gallery for an artifact and the kind of details that you find on those sorts of labels. And then for each one of these items, write that label either directly onto it if you can, or onto a piece of paper and then cut it out to be displayed with the item. So for example, you could say that this was the last banana eaten on board the Titanic before it sank. Put as much detail as you can into these labels about where they were found, who might have owned it, why it's important, what its value is. Now once you've done that for all of these items, arrange them into a display and think about where is this collection? Is it in a certain museum? What museum would that be? Does it belong to a private individual? Are there any connections between these items? Is there a story emerging of how they've all been collected together or who it was who owned them all? Well, we'd love to see what you have from your labels or any stories that arise from this activity. So if you'd like to share, please put it on social media with the hashtag LWCommissions because we'd love to see what you come up with.